What's up, everybody? Whew, thank you for joining me for the first What the FAQ Thursdays. As you can see, this is a beautiful place. I wanted to shoot it outside. I was actually working out here. I have really good service on my Verizon phone or my iPhone. It's Verizon, so I have a hotspot. I was working on my laptop and I decided to shoot it here. Like I said, I'm gonna send out these posts on Wednesdays. You guys get to ask questions, and then I'm gonna shoot the video on Thursdays or Wednesday nights and release it on Thursdays. But I wanted to do this first and foremost because I wanted to just share a different piece of my life with you guys. That's not just reselling. This is why I opened it up to ask whatever you guys want, whatever you want to know, whatever you want to discuss. It doesn't have to be know about me. If you have a topic that you say, well, you know what, I wonder what he thinks about this topic, you guys can do that too. But let me get to the questions because I do have some questions, and thank you very much for those of you that sent it in. First one we have is Mina. How would I find a product photographer for my clothing? I hired someone to help me with my listings and made them manage employee, but I am redoing all my listings to give myself a solid foundation, like you said last video. Yes, and good one, good job. While my photos look much better, I still think I have room to improve. Well, we all have room to improve, Mina, so don't feel bad about that or don't feel any kind of way about that. You just keep improving. Let me give you 2 ways to do it. There's a lot more ways, but I'm just gonna give you 2 ways because then too many things, if you try to do too many things, you don't do anything you don't do one thing correctly. You can hire somebody that's young, like a child. That is one of the cheapest ways to do it. And by a child, I don't mean a little child. I mean somebody that's like 13, 14. If they're old enough to babysit, these kids already know how to use phones. So you can teach them how to shoot photos. And let me explain why. Those kids don't want or don't need money. They don't have to pay bills. They don't have anything to pay for. So you can pay them less. And I don't mean to be an a-hole, but I mean, you can pay them less because they don't need money and they're getting the experience. So it's a trade-off and everybody wins. Shit, if you pay them $40, $50 every time that you see them, they're gonna be over the moon with that kind of money. And the second way is that you can get on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, wherever you want to advertise and get a professional, like somebody that, an adult that wants to do it, maybe on their spare time, maybe on their off time. This is a little harder because as adults, we have car payments, we have kids, we have mortgage, we have light bill, we have so on and so forth. So a lot of the times you have to have enough work all the time for them. If not, they're gonna be like, well, it's because last week you didn't have work and this week, yes, but I want something more steady. And then you're gonna lose them. So all that time that you spent training them is gonna be lost. So I recommend the first one. You can just go around your neighborhood, ask the parents, hey, can I borrow your kid? Does he want to work? This is what he's going to be doing, taking pictures. I'll show him how to do it. And a lot of parents are going to say, hell yeah, get this asshole out of my house and let them go work with you because they're going to learn how to work and they're out of the house. So do that, Mina. I got another question right here. All right. At Eric Harding 9788 says, if you were stuck on an eBay desert island, this is a good one, and could only sell one item, what would it be? Bonus question, would you bring Bruce? First of all, bruh, I would not take another man into a desert island, bruh. No way. Now, if Bruce had a sister or a cousin, I'm there. But anyways, to go back to the other one, what is the one item? I'm gonna give you, or I'm gonna say a package, because it's gonna be one item, but it's like a package deal. I do a lot of HBA, health and beauty, that you guys don't see, that's not part of eBay. Health and beauty is a big deal, and it will always be a big deal, because as humans, we are very vain, so you're always gonna be able to make money. But what I would take is safety razor and razor blades. That's it. That's what I would sell. Think about it. Dollar Shave Club, Jeremy's razors, Harry's razors, whatever they're called. They make a ton of money because you always have to shave. Men and women. Man, face, chest, underarms, legs sometimes if they're working out usually. Women, they legs, personal areas, whiskers. But you know what I mean? They're always necessary, always. The margins are not gonna be as big as you want them to be, but they're always necessary. You can build a subscription service around it. You can build packages. You can build what is it called? Like Christmas packages. You can sell them during maybe, let's see, let me think. You can sell them, man, well, basically the entire year. You can always sell them. Doesn't matter when. You pick a place. I mean, who doesn't want a razor? Almost all of us use them. And then the electric ones. Oh, I have an electric one. Okay, well, it doesn't do the same shit. It does not. No matter how much or like how good they are, they don't do the same thing. Nothing beats a blade. That's what I would take. And I do recommend that if you are able to get into that, get into it. It makes money. I'm telling you. And I'm also answering this for Eric Hardy 9788 because there was some miscommunication from a last post like 2 weeks ago. I can't take he's asking, hold on, let me tell you. You never told me what the holster was because he's asking for the holster on my piece, on the one that you guys see on my gun. I can't take it off because people are gonna think that I'm gonna harm someone, so I'm gonna leave it concealed. But I think it's called Versa Carry. I'm not sure the model. I'm gonna link it down below after I upload this so you guys can see it, but it is great. It is a great meld between leather and carbon fiber. The leather touches your skin, super soft, and it doesn't hurt at all, and it feels great. And then the carbon fiber holds it in place really nicely, and it molds to the gun. It's awesome. I definitely recommend it. And it's not cheap, but it's not expensive. It's just a good mid-range price. Next question. Oh, this was a good one. This was sent in by Robert Parker. He sent it to me through email before I started the What the FAQ Thursday. So I'm gonna give it to him on here. But he was asking, I was recently at an estate sale with some scientific equipment for sale, and among other things, there were what appeared to be several sets of high-end Italian laser safety goggles. They looked real and were super cheap, so I decided to buy them. He is getting them authenticated by the manufacturer. Good. But even if they're legit, I'm wondering whether selling safety equipment like laser goggles would be wise on eBay. I'm gonna give you my experience and then do what you want, but I'm gonna definitely tell you what I think you should do. First off, I don't think that you should sell these on eBay because there's a trade-off. You might make the money quick and everything will be okay. Or if something goes wrong and those goggles don't do what they're supposed to do because it's PPE, it's personal protective equipment, then you can get sued. And you can get canceled, you can get suspended. There's so many things that can happen. And I'll tell you from my experience. At one point, I was selling these pipes called twisty pipes when they were barely coming out on the market. I jumped on that and I made a lot of money, but I was contacted by a 3-letter agency because they were being used by people that were not using them for what their intended purpose was, which was kitchen, like by putting actual herbs. They were using other herbs. So they said I couldn't sell them, and I said, that's fine, no problem. The last of them I lost. I just damaged them out, got rid of them, no problem. But I had already made a bunch of money. So do I recommend you do that? No, I recommend you sell them locally. And I'm gonna give you this one because I know where you live. So I'm gonna give you this opportunity to do this. Google this, look for John McClellan Auction House. Visit him. He's in San Marcos, Texas. It's not that far from you. When you get there, tell him Damien sent you and ask him if he would put those items into one of his future auctions. He's a good dude. I've been doing business with him for a long time. He's a good friend of mine, and most likely he will do it. Try to do it though with one of the auctions that has a lot of money in the room, meaning closer to Christmas or Thanksgiving, when there's like a holiday. That's when people get their money and they get together, and he has some awesome auctions. I can't promise that you're gonna get the money that you want, but it's a safer option. John's not gonna, if something goes awry, he's not gonna report anything because all he says is, this is what it is, this is what we believe it is, and it's up to you if you wanna buy it. So you're kind of wash your hands free of that. I recommend you do that. Go ahead and do that, Robert, and see what kind of results you get. And the last question at Adam M5530 says, hey Damien, can you explain actual measurement shipping rates versus billable shipping rates? I have a few large items that are lightweight but require a large box like a vintage cooler or a vintage Coleman cooler. I hear many people complain about USPS, UPS, and FedEx charging additional postage after everything was correct on the eBay shipping details on their listing. I also hear the same thing when shipping bats and golf clubs. Okay, I get it. So 2 things here. Number 1, get a good scale. A good scale. Spend money on it. Scale, you might think that you're measuring or you're weighing it and it says 2 pounds and it might be 2.1 pounds. And now you're at the 3-pound level, so you're gonna get charged. And it's not them, it's you. A lot of the times, these people that are saying, oh, I get all these problems, it's usually them. I would say 90% of the time it's them. 10% of the time, there are problems. I've had problems, I actually have a video on this, where they try to charge me for something that my shit was correct. 100% it was correct. And they said it was correct, but there was a back-end issue. When there's a back-end issue, you can just contact them and they'll switch it or they'll give you your money back. So that it gets fixed easy. But most of the time, it's people that don't know how to weigh or how to measure. Let me explain another one. These places measure like this. So this is a rigid item, this one's easy. They use a ruler. Here, here, here. Okay, easy, right? This is where people get it wrong. This is like it's bulky, it's not rigid. There's no lines. So most people, what they do is that they put a measuring tape right here and they're like, oh, it looks like 4 inches. It's like, what the hell? What do you mean it looks like 4 inches? No, this is what they do. They get a measuring tape that's normally used for clothing. That's like soft. And then they'll wrap it right here and they'll take it to the side. And usually you can get another 1/2 inch or they get another 1/2 inch. So you're gonna be off. If you follow those rules, you should be okay. And don't worry about all those people that get all negative and, oh my God, they're always wrong and they're always changing the prices. Like, nah, man, that's rare. It's rare. If you measure properly, you'll be okay. Now, if it's 4 pounds, 1 ounce, and you're like, let me just put 4 pounds. No, sir, you go up to 5 pounds because don't try to beat them, win $2 back because then they're gonna end up charging you $18 to $20. That's not gonna be, it's just stupid business. It doesn't work that way. So I recommend you do that and you'll be okay. You'll do well. That's it for the questions that you guys sent in, but I do have one topic to discuss. What I wanted to discuss is what I did today. I was working here and I decided to take a drive. Here, where I live, there is a huge neighborhood, beautiful neighborhood. It is close by here. So I go and I drive there, right? I put some jazz music on. And for those of you that are thinking, hey, this guy, Hispanic, you listening to jazz? Bruh, it's not always about cumbias. It's not always about Spanish music. I listen to jazz and classical. I listen to everything actually, but jazz and classical help me think. So I drive to this place. Those houses are about $500,000 to $1.5 million. Beautiful homes. I look at their architecture. I look at their landscaping. I look at their roads, their clubhouse, everything. It's just a gorgeous neighborhood. And I do this as a reminder to myself. Look, I don't have to have stuff. I don't have to have a big house like that. But I do want the ability. I do want that choice. If I want to have that, am I able to? That's what I'm working towards. For the ability to be able to do whatever I want. For my family, for generations on, to be okay. That's what I'm working for. That's what I'm working towards. And look, I know that a lot of you may be going through a hard time right now. Or maybe you already went through a hard time. Maybe you're just having a shit of a time. And I get it. And I know that you might be thinking to yourself, this is never gonna happen for me. What am I doing? Let me just go back to work if you're a full-timer. Let me just do something else. What am I doing? And you get down on yourself and you just start kicking yourself all the time. And I'll tell you what, I've done that to myself before. I've called myself stupid. I've called myself dumb. I've called myself a bad businessman. I've just all types of shit. I mean, think about it. Look, I've lost 7 businesses, went awry. The 8th one is working. And through that time, people always ask me, why don't you just quit, man? Why don't you just stop? Why don't you just stop? And I said, hell no. You mean stop going after my dreams? Are you kidding me? Look, I might have been negative about myself, about my situation, about what's going on. I might be impatient and want to get there faster. I might be angry sometimes that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or that life screws me up, because life will do that to you. But never, not one time have I ever thought to quit. Never. And I will never quit. Even if it takes me till I'm 100 years old, I'm going to get to my goal. You mark my words. And I think that that's how you guys should view it too. No matter who says what, no matter how people view you, no matter what, I believe that you can get to your goal. And you should too.